by hovercot. Cooper, call the medics. Tell them I've caught the Martian shivers. Tell them it's terminal-ish. Chapter 2. The Rise of the Puppet King. Captain Silas McMaverick entered the infirmary, looking like a man who had never seen a regulation in his life. His flight suit was unzipped to the navel, and he was wearing a necklace made of prehistoric shark teeth. Behind him trailed Junior Agent Percy Pringle, a young man who could trip over a flat shadow. Director? I heard you were at death's door, Mac said, sounding suspiciously cheerful. Maverick. It's bad. Balthazar moaned, hiding a smirk behind a wet rag. The doctors, they don't know. It could be space scurvy. It could be anything. While I'm in the stasis, someone has to run the base. Cooper is too precious to lose. So, I'm appointing you, Maverick, acting director of Zanzara, 9. Pringle gasped so hard he inhaled a fly. Mac! You're the boss. We're moving into the big office. Mac frowned. Now, hold on, Barnaby. I'm a saltwater pilot, well, a vacuum pilot. I don't belong behind a desk. It's all paperwork and gravity bills. I thought you'd say that, Balthazar wheezed. So, I'm appointing Pringle here as your acting executive officer. Pringle beamed. Did you hear that, Mac? I'm the exec. I'll get us a coffee machine that doesn't scream. Go, Balthazar ordered, waving them away. Take command. Immediately, as the door hissed shut, Balthazar sat up and grabbed a cigar. This is going to be the happiest illness of my life, Cooper. Watch the monitors. The explosion should start any minute. 10 minutes later, the monitors flickered to life. The Mavericks hadn't just taken command. They had repurposed it. Mac was using the director's secure line to order 3 cases of moonshine, and Pringle was trying to figure out the base-wide intercom. Attention all personnel. Pringle's voice boomed through the hallways. Under the new administration, all uniforms are optional, and the garter belt shortage is officially over because we found a crate of them in the back of a junker. Also, does anyone know how to unblock a sink without using a grenade? Chapter 3. The Emperor and the Hula Dance Protocol. Just as the base began to resemble a high-tech frat party, a new crisis landed literally. Director! I mean, Captain! Pringle shouted, rushing into Mac's new office. The radar just picked up a gilded shuttle. It's Emperor Kalum of the Marani star system. He's making an unscheduled stop because his warp drive is leaking glitter. Mac leaned back, feet on the desk. An emperor, huh? Sounds like he needs a drink. Does he have daughters? Emperors always have daughters. 3 of them, sir. The arrival was a mess. Mac greeted the Emperor with a wowie wow wow, greeting that Pringle had insisted was a local custom. The Emperor, a man whose hat was taller than Pringle, was not amused. I am Karim Kailum, the Emperor declared. I travel with my most valuable possessions. If any man dares to debase the dignity of the princesses, he will answer to my thermal saber. No debasing, just bowing. Pringle squeaked, accidentally bowing so low he hit his head on the Emperor's knee. To distract the Emperor, Mac offered him a ride on the Azure Shark, their customized PT interceptor. The Emperor, who loved shiny things, spent the afternoon steering the boat in circles, narrowly missing several coral reefs and a very confused whale. Meanwhile, back at the base, Director Balthazar was watching everything from his sickbed. They're hosting a banquet, Cooper, an illegal banquet with Marani moon nectar. Balthazar cackled. And look, Inspector Ironside's shuttle has just cleared the atmosphere. He's going to land right in the middle of the hula dance protocol. Mac had indeed organized a party. To keep the Emperor's daughters entertained, the crew had donned grass skirts over their spacesuits and were performing a dance that could only be described as disturbing. Suddenly, the alarm blared. Ironside had landed. Habazuro. Posalala. Panic stations, Mac yelled. Hide the girls. Hide the booze. Pringle, get the Emperor into the air raid shelter and tell him it's an exclusive VIP lounge. But Mac, it smells like damp socks in there. Tell him it's vintage. When Ironside marched into the office, expecting a crisp military salute, he found Mac and Pringle standing perfectly still, covered in glitter and smelling of fermented nectar. Commander Maverick, Ironside growled. Where is Director Balthazar? He's in the infirmary, sir. Delirious, Pringle offered. He thinks the base is full of hula girls. It's a tragic hallucination. Paramendu, Seramen, Balthazar. Hearing this through the intercom, burst into the room in his pajamas. I am not delirious. Ironside, look, there are women in the air raid shelter. Mac is running a den of iniquity. Ironside stared at the air raid shelter. Pringle had, in a stroke of idiocy, locked the door from the outside. When Ironside forced it open, he found not hula girls, but a group of very angry seabees holding plungers. The princesses had escaped through the vents 5 minutes earlier. Hallucinations? Indeed. Ironside sighed, looking at Balthazar with pity. Director, you've been under too much strain. Back to bed. Maverick, carry on. Chapter 4. The Joy Mist Incident. Days passed, and Balthazar was desperate. He needed a win. He decided to court-martial Pringle for an old infraction, accidentally torpedoing a garbage scow because he thought it was a cloaked enemy infiltrator. A fitness board is convening, Balthazar announced, finally out of bed and back in uniform. I'll break that goofball, Pringle down to a space janitor. Mac knew he had to save his friend. The only way to stop Barnaby is to get him in a good mood. And Barnaby hasn't been in a good mood since the great synth coffee shortage of '82. I've got it, Skip. Virgil, the crew's resident tinkerer, whispered. I swiped a tank of nitrous oxide from the medical bay. We'll pump it into the director's office through the vents. We'll call it Joy Mist. He'll be so hysterical, he'll promote Pringle to Admiral just for the laugh. The plan was executed with military precision, which is to say, it almost failed immediate. The vent was stuck, and Mac had to distract Balthazar with a gift of goldenrod, to which Balthazar was violently allergic, while the crew blasted the gas into the room. What is that smell? Balthazar demanded, sneezing uncontrollably. Are you trying to poison me? It's fresh air, sir, Mac shouted. Breathe deeply. It clears the lungs. Suddenly, Balthazar's face changed. The frown that had been etched into his skin for a decade began to twitch. His eyes widened. He looked at Pringle. You torpedo the garbage scow? Balthazar started to giggle. A garbage scow with potato peels. Pringle, you're a riot. You're my bingy winky. Sir? Pringle asked, confused. I love you, Chucky Wacky. Balthazar roared, rolling on the floor with laughter. Cancel the hearing. Give this man a medal. Give everyone a medal. Give the sink slime a medal. Everything was perfect, until the gas started to leak into the hallway, just as a second inspector, Admiral Shoemaker, arrived. Shoemaker found the director of the base dancing on his desk, singing a song about a lonely mooncalf, while Pringle tried to catch him with a butterfly net. Balthazar, Shoemaker bellowed. What in the name of the Great White Fleet is going on? Ah, Shoei, old pal. Balthazar jumped off the desk and tried to hug the Admiral. You're just in time for the party. Pringle is a genius. He kills garbage. Shoemaker turned to Mac. Commander, it seems you're the only sane person left on this rock. I'm starting to have grave doubts about Balthazar's fitness. Mac shrugged. It's a tough job, Admiral. Some people just snap. Chapter 5. Sydney the Cybergator and the Missing Millions. The final blow to Balthazar's sanity came in the form of a canvas bag. A bag containing 62,000 Z credits, the entire base payroll. Balthazar had set a trap. He had entrusted the money to Pringle, knowing the boy would lose it. Then, he'd have the entire crew arrested for grand larceny. I've marked the bills, Cooper, Balthazar whispered, hiding in the bushes near the racetrack. As soon as Pringle drops the bag, I'll pounce. Pringle, however, didn't just drop the bag. He was ambushed by Zanzara, Nine's local wildlife. A cybergator named Sydney. Sydney was a 6-foot-long lizard, with a robotic tail and a penchant for peanut butter. He snatched the bag from Pringle's hand and vanished into the swamp. Mac. Sydney ate the payroll. Pringle sobbed back at the base. And he ate the director's wallet too. He didn't eat